the fact that I had to do proper police work, whereas they're on an inquiry that was going to involve a lot of foreign travel, and the fact is, no one will be arrested, and you will not solve it. And it's as
Well,
simple as that.
how about this then, John? Right, and I think this ties in with Ronnie's question, right? So, what if we see a bunch more headlines about shocking discoveries on hard drives, evidence that's leading police forces to believe something, and then all of a sudden we have an Epstein situation, and Christian B's no longer here to put on trial? Do you think that's going to be a closed case for a lot of the people looking for closure in the UK on Maddie? Do you think that's going to be the nail in the metaphorical coffin for this story? Because he reeks of Fall Guy.
Well, he may well be, but whether he's convicted or not, I don't think he did it. He might have been involved. He might be connected. There might be some undisclosed evidence that shows he did know them. He was part of a bigger ring or an international child trafficking ring. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. But he doesn't seem that sophisticated. If that lair that they're supposed saying that he's in. I mean, a hard drive. It doesn't look like the place has got any electricity. So where would the hard drive be? It looks like there's nothing there. There's not even any water.
It could be. It was stashed. It was like a buried treasure of evidence, John, of pew-pews, chemicals, photos, hard drives, little girls' swimsuits, toys. It's as if they just dug up a massive gift wrapped.
But I mean, all they're doing is going into the mind and into the world of a PDF file. That's all they are. I mean, now it's more sophisticated. They can use AI and things like that to sort of manufacture, their ideal victim. But years ago, they used to cut bits out of the children's section of catalogues, and sort of stick a head on it and make their own thing up by just sort of like what they call a pseudo image. And it was made by just getting a pair of scissors and cutting things out of catalogues. And it was used as a masturbatory aid. So, it was just, any of us that have investigated these people, that, they are what they are. They're just despicable, predatory, dangerous, lowlifes. And, he's no different to many others. They're all damaged. With a massive sexual bent towards young kids. So the fact that he has got them things, well, he's no real difference to the rest of them. I don't see any surprise there at all.
Do you think, I mean, what you were saying there about the reaction of the McCanns and not be making a statement, what do you think the possibility of this evidence being found, the McCanns saying we disagree that shows signs that Maddie's been unalived? This was all a year ago. Operation Grange agrees, and they've just walked away from it all. And maybe that's why we're not seeing a statement come out. Maybe they disagree with this narrative. What do you think?
Well, look, 80% of the American population don't believe the official narrative, or what was the official narrative of the Kennedy assassination. Now it's come out that he was assassinated. So they never believed it anyway. The majority of the free-thinking intellectuals of the United Kingdom do not believe the official narrative of Diana's death. And I think it's pretty similar to this. I think the majority of people do not believe a word the McCanns are saying. I think people are just fed up with it. I don't think anyone's interested now. Like I say, it's nothing that interests me anymore. Why look anywhere else? You know what's happened. Well, I think I do. And so what? Just a load of nonsense. And Operation Grange, I mean, it should be shut down. Why is it still going? For what reason?
It's agitating you, John. I can see that, like, it's a frustrating.
Well, you've just got to write it off, haven't you? You've just got to sit there and say, well, so what? I don't really give it much thought now, but I just think that it's, how are they getting away with it? How is Operation Grange getting funded, and why is it still running? Why? For what reason? But they are, and the fact that Yvette Cooper has just chucked another 1.8 million or something. Well, it's just massive. This should be a lot of people moaning about that, and asking why. But again, no one's holding the Home Secretary accountable to this, and no one's actually holding the Metropolitan Police accountable. And why are the Metropolitan Police running this investigation? Why is it not Leicestershire? What the effing hell has it got to do with the Met Police? I don't know. I'm confused. This is the Portuguese police. It's got nothing to do at all with the British judicial system at all. Nothing. Why are they there?
Okay. Yeah, there's somebody's not being honest in this, and I think we can all agree on that one. Siego's pointing out, what possible reason would the police have had to dig and find hard drives in that particular location? Isn't it a bit odd to play? Well, this is it. I mean, it sounds like it was a large warehouse sort of factory that you were saying that it was. I mean, I don't know how massive it was, but you would have thought that if you were investigating this guy over a year ago or however long it was, couple of years ago, that you would have been going through that place with a fine-tooth comb then.
Look, I don't know whether it's on your show, but I mentioned it on podcasts I've done. When I was the child protection investigator, there was a guy that was a judo instructor, and he'd got more of his students through to the Olympic Games than any other judo instructor ever. He had the golden touch for it. And there was an allegation that he was a PDF file. He'd been put under investigation before I joined the unit for a few years. And the officer that was appointed to look into it, his conclusion was this man's done nothing wrong. And then the hierarchy of the Met Police weren't satisfied with that, so they took it off this guy and give it to me. So I did a briefing. He debriefed me before he handed the file over, and he said, John, this man's done nothing wrong. Someone somewhere has got it in for him, and they're finding anything they can. And they told me, no matter what, find something on this man. And I found some bizarre unarrestable offence, which I had to go to the court and get a power of arrest attached to it to go and bring him in, some bizarre child protection, shouldn't be near kids thing, and try and stitch this man up with this offence. It got thrown out because he hadn't done it. And it was only a bit later on when I actually sat down with this fellow, I said, why did the old Bill hate you? What is it? And he went, I'll tell you what it is. He said, I'll tell you exactly what it is. He said, when I was getting these kids into the Olympics, the guy that wanted my position in running the judo club was a high-ranking super middle management police officer with the Met Police. And it turned out that he knew the senior officer that was running the unit I was in, and that was all it was. It was just done out of pure spite. But I was told, find something on him. It's the same with this. Find something on this guy. You must find something on this guy. You must. That's what they're doing. They're going to look at the most spirit, a little bit like what they're doing with Tommy Robinson at the moment. Just find something on him and let's charge him with it. That's all they're doing. And I've seen it happen. The police do it because I've worked on units where they've done it. I've worked on 2 units where they've done it, where there's been a political government agenda to get a result no matter what. And, so I saw it with this judo instructor. There's an activist, a guy who does a lot of TikTok. His name's Charlie Veach. And they did the same. They wanted to prosecute him for something and wanted to destroy him. And he'd done nothing wrong. And so they put a campaign out to nick him for anything they could. And it doesn't go anywhere. So I know they do it. And will they stop doing it? No, because there is an agenda. There's an agenda behind this. There's an agenda behind all of this. And
here's one possibility of the agenda. What about the money? Where's the money gone? Why is there no transparency about
we know when the money's gone. It's gone in officers following up these inquiries and the overtime bill and foreign travel and stuff like that, and this semi-permanent basing out in Portugal, and that's where it goes. And that's all corporate price tag that the taxpayer picks up. So every time an officer is deployed out there, right? Back then they used to fly business class because they were working, They were put up in a good hotel, and they were given $100 a day on top of their wages plus overtime. So, you know, and if you've got 10 officers doing that, they're soon going to go into huge figures straight away. So that's where it all goes. That's exactly where it all goes, and all that. This just sort of judicial chicanery that they're playing. It's a total nonsense, and someone should stand in. And Mark Rowley, the Commissioner of the Met Police, should say, no, I'm getting rid of this. I'm shutting this nonsense down. And I'll tell you now, no one will be charged and convicted of this. They might be arrested. They may even get charged. I very much doubt they'll even get charged. But to be convicted ain't going to happen. Are they going to find Madeleine? No, they are not. She is gone